Hello, troopers, and welcome to the 501st Com Chatter. I'm Chloe.
I'm well. How are we doing, guys?
How are we doing? We have the Acolyte finale.
We have
to
the
break-
Acolyte finale to break down for you.
to break down for you guys. I think it was a good finale.
After the breakdown, we will address no one specific, but you will know who we're talking about. And we will address some certain comments made by the fandom regarding the series as a whole and of the finale, which I personally don't agree with. And again, I'm not going to name names, but you'll know who we're talking about. And I just think it's a bit rubbish from what they're saying and how they're reacting, in my opinion.
But also, I have seen this morning, actually, there was a video and it was like true Star Wars fans are creating this hashtag. So there's this hashtag on Twitter. I think it's something like hashtag Acolyte Season 2 or something. So basically, a lot of people are creating this chain on Twitter where they want the Season 2 to like find out more about what's going to happen and stuff. But obviously, I don't want to spoil anything yet in case you guys haven't seen the finale. But we'll get
if you haven't seen the finale, what do you do? Go watch.
I'll come back later.
This whole episode is about the finale. Come back later. Yeah. But before we crack on with our breakdown,
also there is a couple of bits we missed from last week as well.
Did we?
The music at the end after the credits. Which this week again there was another one. So yeah, I thought that was quite funny. It's a new tradition in Star Wars that we haven't had before, like a pop song at the end of the credits.
There was, shall we say, there was quite a few people unhappy with that inclusion.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's okay. It's a bit
fun,
bit weird, but
yeah.
It is what it is. It's not it's not the worst thing ever.
I think it makes it feel more like a movie, because quite a lot of the time, you'll see movies in the cinema, or be like Marvel or whatever. There'll be like a soundtrack that like pop artists and stuff make for that film, and at the end they'll play like one of these things. So yeah, I don't know. I like it. I think it's alright.
Yeah, and well, the words as well. It goes with the whole OSHA and like story. So again, it's not the worst, but
power of many. I love it.
Yeah. Well, before we crack on with that, big news. Obviously, if you guys have been following our socials, you know why there's an episode Sunday tonight instead of Thursday, like normal. And if you don't, we had the privilege of meeting and interviewing High Republic and other Star Wars stories novelist, Cavan Scott.
Mm-hmm.
So here it is. Here is us meeting him. Really nice guy.
Yeah.
Very just the answers that he was coming up with for some of the questions was really interesting, and me and you could have spent we could have chatted to him for for hours.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so nice picking his brain and asking all these unique questions that you wouldn't normally get to ask someone who has created these stories, have they? So
yeah, he was so nice as well. So if you guys are meeting him at San Diego Comic-Con, he's going to next week. He's a really lovely guy, and feel free to ask him any questions or anything. I'm sure he'd answer them. And even though he's an author for Star Wars and many other franchises, he doesn't write just for Star Wars. He writes for Doctor Who, Ghostbusters, Star Trek. There's multiple different things he writes for. But he's a nerd like us, he in his like spare time, he'll sit building Lego, and he goes out for walks. It's the same as us, though. Like, just because he's a writer doesn't mean he's like scary or anything. Like, he was really cool, and it was really nice for him to like take the time to sit with us and answer our questions and stuff. But that will be an upcoming video for you guys, hopefully next week.
So the plan, hopefully, fingers crossed.
If all goes well, no technical difficulties.
Yes. If all goes well, the episode will be out so this coming Thursday.
Yes.
So there won't be like an episode of me and Chloe breaking something down like normal.
It won't be a live, it'll just be a normal video.
It will just be a video of us interviewing Cavan. Mm-hmm. So, we hope that you do join us for this, because I found it really interesting, Yeah. And, if I wasn't doing the interview myself, I would find it interesting to listen to what he has to say, especially in regards to writing the High Republic and finding out details of, I didn't even know about it, and I was like, this is so cool.
It is very cool. If you guys don't know Cavan Scott, you haven't read any of his books or anything, he wrote, is it 3 novels in the High Republic, including the one that he's holding there, that's The Rising Storm. I actually have it right here, so I'll show it to you guys.
Here we go, hang on.
This is his book here, with his name on.
And he very kindly...
He did. He signed it for us.
And as well, the little quote as well that he's added with it is Ride the Storm, the Nihil quote.
Yeah.
Which
was very...
Yeah. And he was just, again, like you said, he was just such a nice guy.
Yeah. So definitely, guys, check him out. Like, not only just for the High Republic stuff, but if you're into any of the Doctor Who, or like, he's even done what's it called, Vader's Castle.
Yep, Vader's
he's done
Castle.
Lots of graphic novels for Star Wars as well, not only in this era. So definitely check him out and give him a follow on his socials, because he's very cool. And
if you do listen to us and you go see him at San Diego Comic-Con, ask him, did he enjoy being on the 501st Comchat? Because that means a lot to us if he's like, yeah, they were fun.
Yeah.
And we did get him a little special gift as well. Should we show him?
Yeah.
So there's only 2 of these. We have one and Cavan has the other. We have a little coaster made of the podcast logo. It does look very nice. Look at the shine.
And it's all like made of wood and like cut out and stuff. It smells like burnt wood. It's very luxury little.
And like I said, there's only 2. Cavan's got one, we got one, and we hope soon, hopefully very soon, that some of you guys will be able to get your hands on some 501st Comchat merch, because I know you guys want to have some. So yeah, just quickly going back to the interview, really nice guy. Here we have a nice little
behind the scenes pic.
Yes, so a little teaser for you. So all of those people scrolling to zoom in on the camera picture to be like, what does it look like?
Oh my gosh.
Like,
But this is us.
Yeah. So here, as you can see, we had a nice little simple setup. We had
a lightsaber.
My lightsaber that is the sort of colours of the High Republic. His book, ourselves, and as you can tell as well, we adorned some High Republic t-shirts.
We did. So you have Stellan.
So I have Stellan Geos with For Light and Life on it, and you have the High
Republic logo.
That looks so good.
Yeah. And he did say he liked our t-shirts as well, which was very cool of him. And we liked his t-shirt. He had like all the different High Republic novels.
Yeah, so it starts off with like For Light, for Light of the Jedi, and all the other ones. And his one was there as well. I was like, that's cool. So yeah, that was really cool. So shall we get on to the news?
Video.
Well, the news first.
Yes.
Don't forget the news. We always have news to show you guys.
And
I really like this news.
Okay.
Sorry. So we have some Funkos.
You know we love the Funkos. If you follow our Instagram, majority of our posts are Funko Pops. You probably get tired of seeing them, but we love the Funkos.
Speaking
and we
of,
have a big collection.
yes. Speaking of, today I actually started following Funko and Funko Europe. So you guys get in touch. We see all these people receiving, you know, boxes and crates from Hasbro, like of the figures. Where's our boxes? We want sponsorship. So yeah.
Even if we just get sent one Funko, I'll be like so happy.
Yeah.
Or even though we probably own them already because we buy them all the time, but
true. Especially like these new ones. The problem is they keep bringing out new ones, and we're like, oh, that looks so good. So we have here the new Fett collection, I think it's called.
Yeah. I mean, they're not all together though.
They're
sold separately. So we have Boba Fett from the Book of Boba Fett. He's got his knee rocket. No, this is not from Book of Boba Fett, is it?
Mando.
This is from Mandalorian.
I did love this scene though.
I did. I loved it.
And I love the little rockets coming out as well.
It was just, what? Boba Fett has come back. Yeah.
So we got this one.
So cool.
Looks
He's
quite
got
cool.
His knee rockets and his like bashed up Beskar armor.
Yeah.
Before he gets it repainted.
This one I believe is this one is a glow in the dark anyway.
I think, is it one of those ones where you put it's got the lights
in light
it?
up. Yeah, I think it's a light up one, but
so this is Boba Fett from Return of the Jedi? Possibly? I think.
I would assume with the floor and the lighting, that's Empire.
This is Empire because he has the green gauntlets.
I was going to say he looks a bit green.
He has the green gauntlets, but he is kind of shaded green. I think it's supposed to be that sort of dark lighting on him, kind of like the Vader that they've just announced.
The Rogue One, yeah.
With the lighting on him, yeah.
Very cool. So this one's quite cool as well. What I like is they all have different bases to the normal Star Wars one,
which is similar to like the jetpack ones.
Yeah. So here we have
Little Boba,
which I think is really cool because I think this is the first time we've got a Boba.
Yeah.
Like young Boba.
I have a feeling that when Daniel Logan goes to Comic-Cons,
he's going to be
signing about 100 of these,
if not more.
Yeah.
But I like the little Kaminoan base.
Yes.
On it. Very cool. And personally, my favourite in this lot. And to be honest, I kind of want to get this one because the old one is really expensive.
The Jango.
Yeah. So we have a new Jango.
Jango Fett.
And
I know, I do really like this one.
And he's got the little Geonosis base.
Yeah.
And I just think it's like really cool. I know the old one is him in the jetpack and it looks quite cool, but it's so expensive to get that one, and I quite like this one.
And it's different how he's like got the Geonosis base as well.
Exactly.
He could go really well with our Geonosis, Anakin and Padme.
Exactly. You got to do it.
We can have a whole episode 2 arena.
we need some Kaminoan Funkos now.
Clone.
We need a Tom Wee.
A Tom Wee. We need some Genesians.
Yep. We need a Dooku. But yeah, I think these are quite a cool little collection.
Well, they did just release a Dooku as well.
They did.
But
very true.
Dooku isn't my favourite. So I probably wouldn't get him. But yeah.
Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows what we'll buy.
But these new ones, again, I'm very tempted. So we have this new Legends collection. So they've released 3 of them with this like special looking like box, but they do put after the name Legends. So they're sort of making figures now that aren't canon, but you know, they're very cool.
I think what they should have done with this is make it the like Gaming Greats one, because then it'd be part of like the collection with Revan, like Darth Revan, Jedi Revan, the Old Republic,
Malak, you know, Malak. And obviously they've done.
We really want Darth Nihilus, but on his own instead of the box.
I know.
But yeah.
But yes.
I must admit, this Darth Malgus figure, he looks a bit like a mummy. He looks like he's got bandages on him, even though it's
He
supposed to be
does.
like a wrinkled face. I don't know. He looks
I
a
mean-
bit off. He looks like he's about to sing Thriller.
Okay, I can see that. But I do
But-
really like his armor, and his like lightsaber looks cool. And it's like he's such an iconic Sith as well. It's like
Yeah.
So this one, again, I'm a bit like I kind of want it, but I'm not convinced yet.
I mean, from playing Star Wars: The Old Republic, he's quite a big character in that. I mean, I was playing with a Sith Acolyte anyway, so I was
What?
yeah, I was speaking to Darth Malgus quite a bit, and
Is he right?
he's very, very cool character. But I don't remember his face looking like a mummy and like he's about to sing Thriller. But
I think he's quite
think it
scarred and like horrifying to look at. So
yeah, but it is really good.
thank God it's not glow in the dark as well, because
Oh my gosh, imagine
those
his
eyes.
just staring at you in the middle of the night. I think his armor and his saber looks really cool as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I like it, but I think they could have done his face a bit better.
Yeah. So another one from the same thing. All these three, by the way, are from the Old Republic game and that. We got Darth Treya with her 3 flying lightsabers.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really clever how they've done the lightsabers on her mind, because they sort of like, she uses the Force to control them, and it's like they've
like,
actually made it look like they're floating about her.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of them's attached to her hair, one of them's attached to her. Look, the other two are attached to like her skirt bit, isn't it?
Well, one's to the arm, one's to the bottom bit of the leg, and then the other one's like across.
Yeah.
But still, it looks really clever, and it looks
It
good.
does.
It doesn't look like out of place or wrong. Again, not my favorite character, so I don't know if I'll get this one. But I really like these collections. I think it's really cool. And it's nice to see that they're starting to go to Legends in terms of like Funkos and so.
You know what they should do? They should make Starkiller as a Funko. Because I don't think they have.
Maybe.
But being that they're doing Legends, why don't they do Starkiller?
They could.
Because they could do him with like the Sith armor. They could do
that's good.
Starkiller's clone from Force Unleashed 2. They could do him from the first one. They could do Juno Eclipse. They could do. I think they've done a proxy.
Yes, they have.
So I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows what's in the pipeline?
Now, next one I will say I do like, and I might have to get. It's my boy HK47.
You have Darth Revan and Jedi Revan, and HK47 was like his dream.
Yeah.
So
that's what I mean. I mean, it's like I have Revan. To have HK as well would be like, because I could put HK with Jedi Revan, and then if I bought Malik, I could have him with Darth Revan, and that would be a really cool little set. But he looks really cool as well. He's got the like blaster. I really like this one. Why did they make him? I want to buy his stuff. But yeah, no, it looks very good, and this one might be a possibility.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like we're going to run out of space at some point.
I think we already have.
Yeah.
At the minute, there's 4 on this desk. So we have a Happy Holidays 4-pack.
Yes.
This is like an Empire edition by the looks of it.
But these ones, they're not your regular size pops. These are called pocket pops. So I don't know if
They're a bit smaller.
I don't know if they're the same size as like the ones you get on your key ring, or whether they're a little bit bigger. But they're definitely smaller than regular pops.
Well, yeah, because they got to fit in that. They got to fit in that little triangle anyway.
Yeah, the little tree. But yeah, I really like them. I think it's a bit soon for Christmas, but they did release a few weeks ago the like Mandalorian holiday ones. So I guess
they announced
everyone's
them?
getting ready for Christmas.
Or have they actually released them yet? Because they might have announced them.
I don't know.
Because we found out the other day So you know the Acolyte Funkos
Mm.
and the ones that we've been talking about, the Yord Master Soul and that. They don't actually get released until the 30th of September. That's the release date on Amazon. So, you know, still quite a way before we get those, unfortunately. Yeah. So I'm not too sure if this is like new, because I know that the skiff.
I mean, they're
individual...
new on Funko.com.
Oh, okay. Well,
But so this is like, all of these come separate. So this is obviously Jabba's sail barge. I really like this Chewbacca. He looks so cute with his like messy hair and his little teeth. Okay. And then you got Han Solo, where he's like, Boba Fett, where? Boba Fett. And then you got Jodie Foster. Luke Skywalker. But if you guys have seen Robot Chicken, Star Wars, Boba Fett calls him Jodie Foster. Then you got Boba Fett. He actually looks really cool. He's got his little jetpack, and it's really nice to see him in the Return of the Jedi armor with his red gauntlets. Then we have Lando in his disguise, and then we have a pirate.
A Weequay.
I didn't know his name, but I didn't know he had a name.
Well, no, right now. Well, no, he's the species Weequay. That's got those weird looking.
He looks like a pirate.
Those like prune faces. That's Weequay.
Oh.
But yeah, so you can buy the whole thing as one. I mean, saying that, this set looks like it's all together.
No, like, so basically...
Because I know you can buy them individually, but that looks too...
No, so you buy them individually and then they all slot together into this big thing.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, that looks... You can't tell.
You can't buy them all together. No. So that's why there's like multiple Star Wars logos. Because
I know you could get them individually because they announced like Chewie on his own first. And then they finally announced them.
The other ones I didn't know had been released.
But yeah. So that's it for news. It's weird to think that it's gone a bit quiet on the like Black Series and Lego. It's gone a bit quiet. I did see a rumoured leak today, which is apparently coming in October. And it's like an Imperial like dropship versus like a Rebel gunship or something. It's a weird one, and it's like Rebels and Stormtroopers. Again, it's only like leaked photos that I've seen. So, but
yeah, we have a lot coming.
Yes. So
let's get into today's episode.
So yeah, we start the episode off literally where last episode ended. We hear the breathing of Osha.
Was it last episode?
Oh, sorry, episode
the episode before
6.
Because last one was like a flashback, wasn't it?
Yeah. So we start the episode off exactly where we left off in episode 6, where we see Osha breathing. But you can hear her breathing like over the Lucas arching.
Yeah. And straight away I turned to her, I was like, oh my gosh. And then you see her exactly the same.
And she's just sat there like, this is quite cool. And Kamir's just sort of watching.
And then all of a sudden she starts like kind of twitching, and he's there like, something ain't right. And then he goes over to her.
And he like puts his hands out.
Tries to get it off her. And
we get this very cool little effect where it's like we go like out of his mind and in his mind.
Yeah.
And we see it like Torbin and Mother Anastasia. So in like the whole place, sort of all the lights go off and it's like a bluey...
Yeah. It's almost like two separate worlds.
Yeah. But it's like, this is what's happening in Kamir's head. And you can see that he's like really struggling to lift off the helmet.
And then his eyes turn black.
In the real world. So in this one with the colour, we see that his eyes have gone black and he's really like calm.
Yeah.
But in the other one, he's really struggling.
Yeah.
And he gets the helmet off her eventually.
Yeah. And then she's like, as if she's woken up from this really scary dream, you know.
Yeah. She says she's had a vision.
She had a vision of May killing Sol with a lightsaber. on Brendok. And he's like, what? He's like, I think you've seen into the future. And she's like, yeah, but the future isn't set. I can change it.
Because he also says, so she can kill without a lightsaber. She does kill a Jedi without a lightsaber. So immediately he's like, oh, I was wrong about... No, she is the one that I want, not you. Which is quite interesting in my opinion.
Yeah. So basically Osha and Khmer take flight to Brendok because she's like, we need to go and sort this out.
I think as well there's a bit where he says something like, the offer still stands to train you. And she's like, I'm not my sister. And he's like, that's definitely true. She accepted my offer without hesitation.
Without thinking twice, yeah. No.
And then we get one of the best bits of the episode. I'm sorry if I burst your eardrum when we're watching this. I got a little bit excited with this scene because as it's really cleverly shot because it's like from a cave entrance.
You just see a little
and
hand.
we see like a hand come round and then sort of like there's a figure and immediately I said to you when I was like, Plagueis. And then we see then we go to May. Before we see them go.
Now we got to talk about him.
We'll
go back to that. We see Darth Plagueis.
The wires.
We see his
Did
little
you ever hear the
evil
tragedy
eyes.
of Darth Plagueis?
His little evil eyes.
And we can tell as well from this look, he is a moon species, which Plagueis is.
Yeah.
So he's the same species as the banking clan. So they have the like big foreheads. Yeah. So, what do you think?
I think it's cool, and we got to see Darth Plagueis live action. It's still a bit weird with this one because obviously the Sith have like the rule of two, and clearly this is like way before the prequels. So,
we definitely know Palpatine is not around.
Yeah. So this has got to be when Plagueis was Tenebrous' pupil. But does Khmer know that he's there?
This is the thing.
Is he training Khmer?
This is the thing. Know. So we're gonna do a full episode, like 2 weeks time, all about Plagueis and Tenebrous. So we're gonna be talking about two Sith that like we've really not touched on at all. But to break it down to this scene, right? There's still questions about it. I really like the fact that we see him and the fact that he's sort of like keeping an eye on them and sort of skulking. Now, for me, there's a couple of possibilities here. So we've either got... So basically... Sorry, I'm going to get there. I think this confirms that the planet is Bremdic. Because Baldembric.
There you go.
So in the Legends novel Plagueis, which I have started listening to now, and it's very good, and you're starting to see more about Plagueis and like who he is and what he his story. The start of it, they are all on Baldembric, him and Tenebrous, because they're checking out a cortosis sort of mine, and sort of it goes wrong a bit. I'm not going to get into it because we're going to talk about it like 2 weeks on. But anyway, on Baldembric, Plagueis kills Tenebrous. So this is where he takes out his master. So him being here is either later when Tenebrous is now dead,
Mhm.
and Plagueis is either with Venomous, I think it is, who's his like first apprentice sort of thing, and or they've got rid of Venomous, and Khmer is his apprentice, or he is trying to kill Khmer. Which,
or is he gonna find out from Osha the whole thing about creating life through the Force?
possibly, but I think this planet is definitely Baldemnic, and this is 100% the creepy Plagueis.
It kind of it gives away a little bit because we know Palpatine is gonna be Plagueis' apprentice, and obviously there can only be 2 Sith, right? So I think at some point this might suggest that Khmer and Osha don't survive.
I don't think they're going to survive anyway.
No.
But especially if Plagueis is involved, you know,
No.
he's not going to let things stand.
No.
So I really hope we see more of him, and we will get onto that at the end of the episode. But it was so nice seeing him.
Yeah.
Really nice. Oh, my God.
Like,
in the flesh, we've seen Darth Plagueis.
I know it's Plagueis.
So just going back quickly.
So we have Sol and May. Okay, so Sol basically wants to prove that this Vergence has an existence on Brendok, right? So he wants to go back there and sort of do a bit more research on it, I guess. And he's got May there. He's, talking to her. She has Pip in her pocket, and obviously because she's reprogrammed Pip, then she's like using him to escape because she's like on this this sort of table thing. Yeah. So she gets free. All of a sudden, grabs Pip's like head and jabs it into Sol.
No, so she uses Pip to escape first.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So Pip got her out of the like.
Yeah, but she's distracting Sol by being like talking to him about why didn't you tell the council, or why didn't you tell Osha, why didn't you tell the Jedi, and then she's like getting out.
Yeah. So she gets free from the like sort of handcuffs on the table. She stuns Sol with Pip, right? And then so he's like, oh, and then she takes off in a blimmin' escape ship that he has. And
what does she say to him?
I can't remember what she said to him.
She turns and looks at him. She's like, "See you in hell, Jedi." And it's really interesting because people have been saying that the first person to say like hell
is
in Star Wars.
Solo.
It's not.
Is it not?
It's not. Because if you think about it, he does say to the rebel, then I'll see you in hell. Like he does say that. But in A New Hope, when Luke and C-3PO go after R2-D2, we get a shot of Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And he's like, have you seen Luke this morning? She's like, oh, I think he left early to start his chores or whatever.
Yeah. And
then he's like, you better have those things fixed by midday or there will be hell to pay.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's not Han Solo didn't say it first. Uncle Owen.
Oh, dear.
But, I can see why people are saying...
I think the most memorable one is, like, Han Solo.
Yeah, because he's saying, like, pretty much the same thing. But, she gets in this, like, escape ship.
Yeah. So Sol takes after her in his ship.
And we get a really cool space chase scene.
We do.
Because she flies through, like, the rings.
Very Star Wars.
Yeah. She flies through the rings of one of the moons over Brendok.
And then his ship's a little bit bigger, so then he's, like, crashing into all these little rocks and stuff. And then he puts his, like, sort of tracking... what's it called?
Targeting system.
Target thing.
Display
where he can see, like, where she is or whatever.
And it does look like he's trying to like target her, either to like lock her in or
or make her crash.
Or to kill her.
Yeah.
And then
we don't really know his intention. But then, obviously, because Basil is on the ship, Basil's like, "No, mate, you ain't shooting her down." So Basil starts tearing apart some wires in the ship, and then Sol just looks around and he's just like,
yeah,
right?
Like, I love Basil, but what on earth are you doing, mate? Like,
yeah.
It's a bit of a weird one.
I think it's because he thought that Sol was gonna shoot down.
I think he was, but I think the annoying thing about it is, like, you look at where this episode ends up now. You know, Basil basically causes what happens. You know, and I love the show, and obviously, yes, it's not perfect and has some problems. But this is one of the real times where, like, Basil or someone doing something like this, where Basil just all of a sudden his whole character has basically changed. He's gone from, like, a tracker helping to track May down to, like, no, I'm not gonna. I don't want you to kill her. Like, it just as obviously I know they couldn't have Sol, like, shoot the ship, but it's like.
I mean, I thought he was just putting it on to, like, see where she was, because obviously there's a lot of rocks around.
Well, no, because it was like a target thing, like the TIE fighter.
It was.
And you even made the same noise as Darth Vader's, like.
But I don't know if Sol would have had the heart to, like, shoot her down. Who knows? But
I just think it was a bit weird for Basil to do that.
But anyway, we end up having them crash landing on Brendok. Right? So if you guys don't remember Brendok, it's the place where all the witches were and where all this disaster happened about 10 years ago.
Yeah. And we also get a bit of a weird bit. So, but I really like this scene. But before this, I think it's before this bit anyway. Venestra is like mid conversation with someone over, like, a telecom system. I can't remember who it is. Actually, no, I think it's after this bit. Actually, I might be wrong. But so I can't remember his name. I think his name's Mog, the Jedi that we see accompany her last time.
Yeah.
I think it's Mog. He comes over and he's like, that senator's here to see you.
Oh, yeah.
And she's like, you let him in the control room. And he's like,
he's like, yeah, was I not meant to?
Like,
she just goes in there like,
God's
sake. No, what do I got to do?
Yeah, and we get this really. So this is, I can't remember his name, but this was the senator that was basically pushing the external review of the Jedi, and he's clearly not a fan of the Order. But I think it's a really good scene because, you know, he clearly isn't one of these normal senators that, like, sort of just lets everything go over the head. He sees it as it is.
Yeah.
He's like, I hear you were traveling in hyperspace. How's your stomach?
Yeah.
And it's like, obviously, we know from the novels, she finds it unsettling.
Yes.
And she's like, it's not my stomach, it's my head. And then obviously he's like, I think it's only a matter of, basically they get into a bit of a debate, and he's like, I think it's only a matter of time before one of you finally snaps and goes rogue. You know, it's like, okay. And he thinks that, you know, they're a cult with a bit of a following, and they need to be checked and kept in line a bit. I think his portrayal was really good. I think David's portrayal here was really good.
Also, I was I was thinking this when I watched the episode. His necklace looks a bit like Crimson Dawn.
That's true. You did point that out.
But I know this is like decades before Crimson Dawn. But
and it would be a
just
bit
for
weird,
pointing out.
being a senator being Crimson Dawn.
Yeah.
But
I mean, maybe it was kind of like an origin of it or something. But who knows?
Yeah. And it's really interesting because he's like, you control great. You think you have big control over things. It's like not the Force. We don't control the Force.
Yeah.
But he's like, not the Force. Your emotions.
Yeah.
And they don't like each other. These two.
No.
And as he leaves, he's really like cocky.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, what is it you saying? May the Force be with you. As if like goading her and like just
but
being.
She proper like uses the Force to like open the door, like get out then.
Yeah.
Get out.
It's just like, oh, yeah. I don't like you.
No.
But yes, sorry. Before we get to that bit,
that's a big jump.
Honestly, there's so many little pictures. But we got so then again, I think it's the bit where we see them leave here, and that's when we see Plagueis, I believe.
Yes.
So very cool.
Yes. And then we get to Brendok. So Sol and May have crash landed on Brendok, right? And then Sol's there and he's looking for May, and then all of a sudden Khmer sneaks up on him because Khmer and Osha got there before Sol and May did. So,
but where was May hiding? Because he goes to the bridge that's broken. He's like, May.
Yeah.
Nothing, and then he walks off.
And then she comes up.
She'd been hiding.
Which I thought was actually really good because it's like a complete cycle. I don't know. Complete.
She come up where she fell.
Yeah.
So that was
it's like, she's changed. She's grown. I don't know. She saved herself. So yeah, Sol's looking for her. Obviously, she's sneaking about. Khmer is sneaking about, and he sneaks up on Sol. They end up getting into this big fight in the courtyard.
Again, he teases. Sorry, he's got his Cortosis helmet back now. Yeah. But he teases him because he's like, "Thank you for bringing her to me.
Yeah,
we make a great team." It's like, "Oh, you bastard."
No, and then May goes into like the bedroom, like where her and Osha used to be when they were little girls. And then Osha walks in and she's like, "What are you doing here?" I can't remember what she says, but then May's basically explained to her like, "Come with me, like
I saw Sol kill Mum."
He's killed Mum. And he's lied to you this whole time, and I think Osha just doesn't really know what to say or do, and she just loses it.
Oh, she says something about how could someone with so much power or something like destroy everything like you did, something like. And she goes at it.
She still blames like May for the fire, and then May is there like fighting with her, and you can really see the sort of like yin yang aspect of them. Like they're both mirroring each other, and they're both the same thing, right? And it's very weird as well because whenever you see someone wearing dark clothes, you expect them to be like the baddie. And May, she's obviously the person that's been portrayed as the baddie of this season. But she's wearing the lighter clothes, and it's like, what's happening here? But again, like yin yang, there's like a darkness in the light and a lightness in the dark as well.
Yeah.
It's like
balance.
They're both one. Yeah.
And then we get some like really cool fights as well. This is one of my favorite fights as well between
Khmer and Sol.
like this is up there as one of my all-time favorite like Star Wars fights because of what we see in it. So we see obviously the battle in the like walkway and the little like tunnel,
Mm-hmm.
and
Where
then
Kamir completely loses his temper when he starts like
going for it.
cutting the walls and stuff.
And then they sort of Kamir kicks Sol sort of through this opening,
Mm-hmm.
and Sol using the Force cleverly
Slowly lifts
slows
himself
his
up.
defense, and obviously this is filmed in slow motion as well.
I think there's a lot of wire work as
Exactly, yeah.
But very well, like
And Kamir comes at him here, like,
choreographed.
yeah.
In this fight.
Again, such a really cool fight, and we see that like Kamir starts like going for him and charging at him.
Mm-hmm.
He like gets his like little lightsaber out from his other one.
He's just charging at him with his 2 lightsabers.
Yeah, and it's all going really well, and Sol has the upper hand in this fight. Like Sol is the better one here, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And he like Kamir like basically throws both lightsabers at him, and then like pulls them back.
Yeah.
And we get this really cool shot where the 2 lightsabers are coming towards Sol, and he's like running to hit him, and Sol puts his lightsaber away, and then basically does like a force push in all directions, sending Kamir flying and the other 2 lightsabers flying. And yeah, it's really cool. And I believe as well, in that moment, he breaks his like little lightsaber.
Yep.
And then again, the battle sort of continues in the fight. Again, Sol's badass in this fight. I think he's, again, one of my favorite fights in Star Wars. Just so cool. But then we also see the fighting again between like the girls, and then as their legs like come together as like a kick, they form. It like cuts perfectly to the like
to the X of the lightsabers.
Yeah.
Clashing.
And there's this really cool bit as well where like Kamir gets, or Sol's lightsaber is the other side of Kamir's, and what Kamir is doing is he's bringing Sol's wrist down, so his lightsaber is gonna hit the cortosis and like shut off. But
you can see like the sparks coming from his helmet as well.
Well, yeah, because the lightsaber, as it's getting closer to the cortosis, is reacting. It's like screaming, like screeching, and see the like sparks coming off to his helmet. And then obviously Sol does like a good little spin and gets out of it. And then he like chops the his lightsaber. Because originally, from the way that it was shot, because they like sort of ran at each other, I was like, oh, he's like stabbed him, like Kenobi did to Maul.
No.
But no, he just destroyed the lightsaber. Kamir takes his helmet off as well.
Yeah, to try and like make him feel sorry. He's like,
face to face.
Look at my face, then.
Look at my face.
Because obviously, you know, with a helmet on, he looks like a complete robot, like you know. But obviously, the way the Jedi is like, you don't kill unless you have to.
But then we see May come out of nowhere, because in the fight as well, if you remember, May just disappeared. Yeah. Like Osha was fighting her, and then she was like, huh?
Yeah.
She gone.
She vanished.
But saying that as well, when Osha and Kamir landed on Bremdock and they were at the lift, she was like, oh, there's no way up or something. He was like, that's not true. And he was like gone. He was disappeared again. But yeah, so she comes out of nowhere and she like takes Sol by surprise. Yeah. She does like a flip over him and takes his lightsaber. It's like, oh my god.
And then she throws his lightsaber across
the courtyard. So she has it here, and then she like throws it.
And then he's there like...
Oh no, wait, sorry, no, she has the lightsaber, and Kamir then looking at her is like, good. Strike him down and complete your path. Like literally what Sidious says to Luke.
Yeah.
strike me down and complete your journey.
Mm.
And she's like, no. She throws the lightsaber. It hits like some sort of debris, like the top of it, and we see it on the floor, and the like top of the emitter is now smashed, and you can see the kyber crystal. So yeah, but quite an interesting look because we don't really see that with like lightsabers and that. And she's like, I want you to confess to everything.
Yep.
I want you to I want you to tell the Republic, and I want you to tell the High Council.
I want you to pay you for killing our mum.
Yeah, I want you to I want justice to be served. So instead of wanting revenge and killing, she wants to
do justice.
Yeah, which is quite interesting.
But then he obviously explains, like, look, this planet, there was a divergence. I believe you and your sister, you're not twins, you're one, and you were created by the Force.
Yep.
And
then she's like, I want you to confess. Tell me what you did.
Yeah. He's like, yes, I did kill your mother.
She's like, did you kill my mother? And she was like, yes.
And then Osha's there.
She's like, what?
Osha comes out of nowhere, picks up Soul's lightsaber, and she was like, what? Is it true?
And then he's like trying to tell her, and he's like, I did it because and literally as he was like,
and then she uses the Force.
He was literally about to say to her, like, I love you because I loved you. And it was like, I love. And then we see that he's being choked.
She's just like, stop
talking.
Yeah.
And both of May and Kamira just like looking on like, I'm not getting involved.
Yeah. And then he even says, like, it's okay. Like, he almost gives her permission to kill him.
So we see, we see Soul being like
revenge, and he feels like
Soul doesn't fight it, and he literally just looks and he's like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And we see her like close her fingers to like kill him off. No. And I was, oh my god.
No. Okay. We need a moment for Master Soul.
Also, shout out to Lee Jung-jae for an incredible performance as Master Soul this series. I think he was really good.
Yes.
Definitely like one of probably the best performance in my opinion this series. I would say second, Manny with Kamir. That's the top two in my opinion. Yeah. But we're not going to go into that right now. But going back to the, just going back a bit because it's really interesting. So we see, this is a little bit earlier, by the way, we forgot to mention. So we see Venestra.
Oh yeah.
In a security office thing, and she's mid conversation with a random stranger. We don't know who it is, and she's like, I need to get a message to him, like it's urgent, or like we don't know who she's talking to. Then we hear like a weird voice on the other end basically say like, it's highly unorthodox, but I will see what I can do. So it's like, ooh, who is she talking to? Very interesting. Who is she like suspiciously talking?
What is Venestra hiding?
Yeah. And then Morg sort of comes back and is like, he's transponders back on. He's on Bremdock. So
she's like, right, get a team, we're going.
Yeah. So they head off, and then while Kamir and Sol are fighting, we see Venestra's ship sort of come overhead.
They're like, I know that.
Yeah. But then we see it go over like a hole in the roof as well with May and Osha. Yeah. And that's when May uses the opportunity to like disappear. And Kamir meant like Sol's like, they're here now or something, and Kamir's like, they're not here for me, and it's like, well, that's true. They're not here for Soul. And by the way, as well, mentioning this, while we get this really cool shot in the episode. So while Osha is force choking Soul, we get this really cool shot of like looking into his lightsaber.
Obviously, because he's holding it.
Yeah, and we can see his lightsaber and kyber crystal, and it starts turning red. So this is what is known as bleeding the kyber. So you can see that she is putting in her anger and her hate into it. And do you know what I think is really cool as well? I know it's like a little detail. So we've got this like sort of, it's almost like a branches like coming down. But if you look at her hand, it's like you can see the veins. So you can see her veins like in her little bit there. But it's like you can see it almost traveling down from her into the crystal, which is now turning red, which she then ignites and like points it at Kamir. And it's this really cool shot of the red starts like fizzling out the blue as it makes its way up the lightsaber. And it sort of gives off a bit of smoke and like I think it's just a really cool shot.
Bleeding the crystal.
Yeah.
So if you guys didn't know about lightsabers, so the reason why Sith have red lightsabers is because they've bled the crystal by using the dark side. Basically.
So they've put their anger and their like strong emotions into the crystal, which then like turns it red.
Yeah, and then they turn white if you heal the crystal, which is what Ahsoka did.
Yeah. So Ahsoka took the crystals from the Inquisitor that we see her kill in Tales of the Jedi. And what she does is, we don't obviously see it in anything, but we know she heals the crystal, and that's why it's now like a white, like, it's not red, it's not blue, but very cool. And I just thought it was really cool to see in person. And Osha then all of a sudden starts like crying, sort of kneeling down, like basically, what have I done? And Kamir's like puts his hand on like her shoulder. And he's like, it's okay. And he's like, I will train you, sort of thing. And then we see obviously the ship, Venestra's ship land, and they step foot on the planet. And she's like, she senses something. And Kamir then like senses it as well. And Venestra's like, you. And Kamir is like, oh bugger. Quickly like puts his Cortosis helmet on. He's like, we have to go like now.
And then me and Usha,
we get this
head off.
We get this sad shot of Soul. I feel so sorry for Soul. And especially at the end of the episode, I was really sad because we'll go into it in a bit, but it's like really sad for him. So they leave off, and we see like the Jedi. Oh, they meet Basil as well at the ship, don't they? So Basil leads like some of the Jedi off to like wherever they're going, and some of them go to the camp. And we see Venestra like hooded use the Force to like open the door, and the Jedi go in, and then she comes out and she sees Soul, and they sort of spread out having a look, and she comes over
she's
and like
using her like Force echoes, so she's sensing what happened earlier that morning, and obviously what happened 16
years ago. So you hear like young May being like, "Mama, Mama." And like she knows now what's happened fully. And then while she's looking at Soul, Kamir is up on the little like walkway, like with his mask on, like looking down at her. Like it's a really good shot. And then we see the girls sort of go back to the bridge.
Mhm.
And May's like, "Do you trust me?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Yeah."
No, she's just like, what? She's like, trust me.
So they
Strap
go
down.
down, they like climb down the rock face.
Yeah.
And they come to like one of these like vent things. And this is where we learn how May escaped and survived.
Yeah.
Like Luke on Bespin, he got sucked down into one of these vents.
Mhm.
And that's how he survived.
Yeah.
Same happened to Osha.
Mhm.
May, sorry, and she makes her way out to the forest.
To the bunta tree.
And they meet at the bunta tree. And they have like quite a nice little moment where they have like a hug
Mhm.
like they're back to being sisters again.
Yeah. And then Kamir's like, he finds them.
Kamir just shows up.
Yeah, and he's like, if I can find you here, then the Jedi can find you.
Yeah.
And
they're like, May. I think he says something about May knowing too much or something. It's like we can't let her go or something.
Yeah.
So May's like, wipe my mind or something.
Yeah. Well, Osha, he basically says to Osha he wants her to be his apprentice and come with him, but obviously May can't go. But the reason why is because all this time he wanted May to murder one of the Jedi without using a weapon. And every single time she's used something, with Master Torben, she poisoned him. With Kalnaka, he was already dead. With what's her name?
Indara, she
stabbed her with weapons. So this whole time she's been like, oh, I can't do it without a weapon. But then Osha's literally just done that with Master Soul by using the Force. But so yeah, that's why Kamir sees Osha as like his new apprentice, and he's like, we can't leave May like this because the Jedi use her to find information. Like, she even says that. She's like, they're going to use me to find you. And then he says that I can wipe her mind of any memories of you. And then
and of us, and so.
Yeah.
But then, like, May's like, I want to do it.
Yeah.
And they have like one little hug, and they do the like, I am with you, you're with me, like.
Yeah. Always
as one,
born as two.
And then she's like, who taught us that, right? And they're like, don't know, really.
Yeah.
But then May looks at like Kamir and sort of gives him like a nod, and he's like,
And
then she doesn't finish the rhyme, if I remember.
Yeah.
Born as one, and she's like, like she doesn't know.
Yeah.
And
so
then
she's like helping her.
Yeah. So then they leave, and yeah, they got the nice little bit of like Kamir and Osha with Soul's lightsabers. Like, oh,
yep,
my boy Soul. And then the Jedi turn up, and they're like, let's see your hands. You're under arrest, and she's like, got no idea what's going on.
And they're like, yeah, you created this murder, blah blah. She's like, what?
Yeah.
So they capture May, and then we also see them bring her to Venestra, and Venestra asks her.
So also as well, what we see is Venestra lean down and say to Soul, I'm sorry, my friend, or goodbye, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And we see as well that like she's done is it a pyre?
Yeah, she basically made a little raft and set them on fire.
Like we see Qui-Gon in Phantom Menace, he's on like a table.
Or like Darth Vader, what Liquid did with Darth Vader.
Yeah. It was really sad. But
yeah.
So she brings she brings May in.
Well, the Jedi bring May in
Yeah.
to see Venestra,
And-
she's questioning her, and she's just like, I don't know these people. I don't know about any murder. Like, what happened?
Basically, as well, also just quickly, she comes in and it's very much like Palpatine with Luke. She's like, take her restraining box off, leave us, like, you know. So, which I thought was really interesting. And then she tells May how a rogue Jedi, basically her friend Soul, let her down and killed her mother and her family.
Yeah.
Like, she tells her it. Like,
yeah, and she asks like, what does she remember? And she's like, I remember
a fire.
a fire. And she was like, your last memory is when you were 8 years old. Like, Vernestra knows that, like, they've done something to her.
Yeah.
So she's like, right, I think you can be of help with me and the Jedi about
You can help me
someone.
find my former Padawan or former pupil.
Yeah.
Who's turned evil. And it's like, well, it's confirmed. Then Kamir is Venestra's old Padawan.
Yes.
Which is quite interesting.
It is, and it probably means that she made those marks on his back.
Yeah. We also see as well, like, we get this bit where Venestra is explaining what all the investigations led to.
Yeah.
She lies straight up because she's trying to keep out Senate involvement in, like, Jedi affairs.
Yeah.
And we see that, like, she tells the Senate here that a rogue Jedi,
Master Soul,
yes, basically created an incident in Brendok 16 years ago.
Yeah.
Hid what happened, and then has gone round and killed his associates, Indara, Kalnaka, and Torbin, to hide the truth coming out.
Yeah.
And that he killed himself on Brendok. And that has been
initially happened.
But we see as well, so I believe this is the, like, Chancellor at the time. I can't remember his name. So we see him, and obviously, look who's next to him.
Yeah.
And we get this, like, look.
Annoying bloke.
We get this look that he sort of gives Venestra.
Yeah.
And when she says rogue Jedi, he like turns and is like, oh, I knew it, like, you know. And this is obviously going to lead to the evaluation of the order and all that. So it's a bit like, but yeah, and then we get we go back to what I believe is now Baldemnik, and we see Osha and Kamir, and he's like, we're gonna. He's like, I'm gonna. Does he say anything? I can't remember. Was he like?
I don't know.
I can't remember. I think he's
like
like.
They're holding hands.
He's gonna.
They've got, like, the lightsaber and they.
Yeah, so they have the lightsaber. They're holding hands and they're looking out over, and she's got this, like, sort of evil almost look now.
And she's got a hood up.
Yeah, and it's like they're looking out over the waves, and then it goes black, and then we see Venestra enter like a chamber.
Cameo.
We see Venestra enter a chamber, and she's like, "I'm sorry, Master. I need to speak to you."
Yeah.
And the camera comes down, and we see Yoda.
Yay!
So we knew we had Yoda turn up, and we had Plagueis turn up in this episode. So
I mean, we knew Yoda was around in High Republic, so yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Now, I said to you, I have one problem with this scene. I love the fact that we see Yoda. I mean, I'm not too sure on the fact that, like, why Venestra is going to tell Yoda all of this, and he's now going to cover it up. But what I don't like about this shot in particular, they've used
An old Yoda.
Like, obviously, they've used the puppet Yoda,
Mm-hmm.
which I can understand. It's a practical effect. You know, it's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
The problem for me is because they're using the practical effect Yoda, his hair and the way that he literally looks like old Hermit Yoda that we see on Dagobah,
Yeah.
when he should be like so much younger than what he looks like there.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully that's something that they change for season
next
2.
Season, yeah.
Now, I think they need to do a season 2, in my opinion, because
there's still a lot of unanswered questions. A big one for me is why were they using Kylo Ren's theme?
yeah,
Is this anything to do with the Knights of Ren? Is it just because, Kylo killed his dad and Osha's killed her, father figure? I don't know. Who knows? But I don't really understand.
no, I totally understand what you're saying there. You know, because obviously it's
also,
a bit.
we need to know more about Plagueis. What he's doing there, whether Khmer knows that he's there, or if he's hiding and just spying on Khmer. I don't know.
There's lots of questions. Yeah, I hope there's a season 2.
Yes.
But my thoughts, I really like the series.
Yes.
I think it's
got too
getting a
much
lot of hate. Yeah.
Way too much hate for how good it was.
Yeah, and you know, there's some, like I said to you in like a message when we were talking about it, it was like, there's so many aspects of this show that like people are just overstating. Like, we've had a Plagueis appearance in live action. Yeah. We've seen a bleeding of a Kyber crystal for the first time. You know, like we've seen a Wookiee Jedi.
Yeah.
In live action, there's a lot of stuff that we've seen and that is really good and needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was what I thought. Yeah, I thought it was very good. Hope you enjoyed the finale of it as well. So we go on Troopers of the Week.
Yes. And then I have Meme of the Week as
well. So I can't remember. I've got to be honest. I can't remember the name of this trooper. We'll have to shout it out. We'll shout it out next episode, like that we do together. But they've done a night trooper, but on
it's someone called Astoria_workshop.
Nice, but yeah, so they've done a night trooper version of a 332nd helmet, and it looks really cool. I love the gold on it and the broken bits. So yeah, that's.
I think also because the night troopers are from the Ahsoka series, and this is the Ahsoka clone troopers, it makes sense.
That does. It is very cool.
It's a very cool little I don't know, Easter egg.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my trooper of the week.
Yes. My trooper of the week is I don't know how to pronounce that. VLKSRS. It's someone that's done a really cool little photo shoot with little Black Series figures, and he's made a little hallway and a little smoke machine, and it looks like Maul with the 332nd and the 501st
Coruscant Guards. Yeah, that's really cool. I do really
cool
like it.
Little hallway,
It's a great little
very
photo.
Creative, and he's made all the clones lie on the floor, so they're dead.
Yeah, I want to create something.
It looks very cool.
Like how he's done a little wire thing there to make it look like he's being choked. Such a cool scene. I love it. Yeah, look at that. It's so cool. I love the process behind it as well.
I love how he's done this behind the scenes footage. He sprayed a little bit of mist, so it's smoky. Yeah. I love it.
So maybe next episode we'll show the actual picture of it, so you can see what it looks like.
Yeah.
Meme of the week you have.
I do. Us? We forgot to put it on the computer.
Yep.
So you have to look at my phone. But it's Palpatine. He lies, he flies, but most importantly, he tells the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
Yep. I love that one.
I thought this was a good meme.
Yeah. Good old Plagueis.
And we thought we'd find like a Darth Plagueis one, being that he was like the big cameo of this episode.
True.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's it for this episode. We hope you've enjoyed our Acolyte breakdown episodes. It's been quite fun.
Yeah, I'm sad to say this is the last Acolyte breakdown
I know.
until they release another series.
If they do, please do.
I hope they do.
I want another series. But yeah, so that's going to be the last one of us.
Yes.
So next episode should be the interview episode. So it's going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be us, talking about breakdowns. We're going to be interviewing Cavern on it. Mm-hmm. So we hope you enjoy it and enjoy what he has to say to us. Yeah. And then the following episode, we're going to try and do Plagueis and Tenebris. Mm-hmm. So that'll be an interesting one.
Yes. But we hope you like next week's episode.
Yes.
Be sure to like it and comment any opinions or anything.
Yeah. But from us guys, may the force be with you.
Yes. And for last time.